All right, y'all, I got another one. I got it. Got what? I got the good news. Another Plumeria, which I totally lucked out with this one because I know that the Plumeria only comes really once a year in my town. And if you don't grab it, it is gone. I had another one. I still have it, but it hasn't leafed out yet. And it's kind of weird because it's almost June, so I must have did something wrong, and I'm pretty sure I know what it is. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what not to do wrong and what to do right, and how you can keep your Plumeria going strong, because as you can see, this one is off to a really good start. And it's because, I mean, these are from Hawaii, you know, or they grow in Hawaii, and they give them all the right conditions as far as the light, as far as the soil. And the soil is definitely the key factor to this plant, to having a healthy, nice, lush looking outcome. And so soil, you're gonna want to use something very well draining, something really, really able to dry out. And the reason is because look at this nice, thick, very decorative looking trunk. Well, it looks pretty, but it can rot real easy. And that's usually the case with a lot of really thick trunk, tropicals especially. But yeah, that's just something that you don't want to stay wet for a very extended period of time. And so with that being said, I was talking to a guy earlier today. He used to live in Hawaii, and he said he would find them on like the, you know, like mountains and mountain tops, and you know, they are growing out of like basically volcanic soil. And so I'm sure you probably can't just come across some volcanic soil. So a great alternative is like some pumice rock, or something that's very aggregate like. A cactus mix will suffice. What I've thought about doing is experimenting with, like, say, cactus mix, and maybe even like orchid bark, just something that's super, super coarse, very loose, and it's almost like water will go straight through it. That is the mistake I made on my first attempt. I don't think the other one's a goner, but it's just not doing anything. The stems are, it's still got some bend to it, so it's not dead, but it's just not really alive. So it's at a standstill. So in the meantime, I'm heavily relying on this new Plumeria here, and not gonna make the mistake of just putting it in regular potting soil. I have a neighbor who's got a Plumeria. He sits his out every summer, and his is like 5 times the size. It's easily 6 feet, and it is just doing its thing in a major way. And he really does nothing with it. Over the winter, he doesn't water it. He doesn't do anything. The guy I was talking to earlier, he takes his out of the pot, you know, let the root ball, like I think he just puts it in a plastic bag and just does nothing. Like puts it in his basement, ignores it, forgets about it, walks away. It's like a distant memory. And then I'm sure in the springtime he comes to the basement and is like, oh yeah, you know, I have a Plumeria growing down here. And then puts it back in a pot and sits it back outside. So that's a little hint of how low maintenance this can be, as long as you get that soil part right. And that's why I'm really hammering on the soil topic, because that is the Achilles heel with the Plumeria. But moving right along, the light conditions, as you can see, this is well lit up, and in an ordinary environment, you want to also keep it well lit. I mean, as much light as you can give it. It's used to being out in the middle of the sun, so it can take it. So that also means growing indoors, find your brightest window and put it front and center. It's just gonna love you for that. And, you know, you can even see some fairly moderate growth. You know, it's not a super fast grower, but it can grow quite aggressively. And this one sure is doing that. I will say I feel kind of guilty. I've already knocked a leaf off, goofing around. I'm not sure exactly what I was doing to cause that, but win a little, lose a little. As far as your humidity, it's definitely a humidity lover. Make sure you get your humidity right with this one because it's just not gonna like really dry air. Outside of that, I mean, I'm gonna experiment around. I mean, I literally just got this today, and that's why I'm not really going into my week to week or how often I water or a lot of the other care tips. So in a way, I'm kind of just showing off, but in another way, I did want you to know, because you probably lucked out and got a Plumeria yourself and is like, okay, now what do I do? And really just nail that soil part and the light part, and you will be just fine. I'm sure, you know, wherever you are, your humidity level this time of year is probably just right. It's not that finicky as far as humidity goes, but it's just definitely going to want some. And fertilizer, I'm going to give this one some Osmocote, the Balance 14-14-14 fertilizer. That's what I'm going to do. It is somewhat of a feeder, so definitely be mindful of that. But, you know, you could treat it to, I've been using the Jax 20-20-20 if you're looking for a water-soluble fertilizer, but definitely give it something for it to munch on to maintain that nice green foliage. And by the summertime, you're gonna see some bloomage out of these. This particular one happens to have white blooms. I only know this because I saw all the other plants that it was accompanied by, and one happened to have a bloom on it, and they were all the exact same type. It does not say what I got. I just know it's a Plumeria. It doesn't tell me the cultivar or anything, but nonetheless, I'll be pleasantly surprised when it blooms, if it even blooms this year. I know this is kind of a little pup. This is definitely a cutting that someone took, or the greenhouse, the nursery took, and it's an awesome little start. And I will keep you up to date with any advancements that it makes down the road. I'm sure it's going to be a long haul before I start seeing really, those nice, big, statuesque, 6 foot tall. It's going to take a while to get there. So in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and look out for my future videos. And thanks again for watching Plant Marks the Pot. I'll see you on the next one.